Good morning. This has become kind of a habit to have you join me while I clean my stalls. But in my defense, I had one student said she thought it was interesting that she felt like she was hanging out with me watching me do the stalls. So the only reason why I kind of continued to do it. So blame Morgan. Um, I wanted to explain why I started a group that I'm really glad I started. Was actually it was kind of a fluke. Um, I was looking to, there's been a bunch of people that have been interested in a video that I had done. And I found myself kind of doing copy and paste messages because I was, repeating myself quite a bit. And I was trying to keep it personal, but it really got to the point to where I couldn't respond. And it was, I mean, I'm thrilled that that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, oh, wouldn't you love to have that problem? But I wanted to try to get everybody that had reached out to me in one kind of chat room, and I couldn't. Like I went into like my messenger, and it would allow me to start a group, but the problem is those were the only names they gave me the options to start the group with were people who were already on my friend list. It wasn't letting me, just make a group out of just some random people. Even if you were in my, in my messenger library already, it still wouldn't let me find you. So what I decided to do was start a group. I'm like, all right, well, the best way I can get everybody together. So I wrote a copy and pasted request for everybody to express if they were interested in possibly joining a group. Because if you join this group, we'll do some fun stuff in the group. But also because I really wanted to get everybody together because I have kind of a question. And my question is, okay, I guess I got to give you a little background. I just bought a piece of property, and it has like groom's quarters, or it has like a, caretaker's house. And we were gonna rent it, and there's just something about like a full-time person here that I'm not 100% sure I'm ready to embrace. But what I thought about doing, and I had thought about this prior to kind of my stumbling onto people who might be interested in learning something from me, outside of my normal student list, I was like, oh, what if? Because I've been talking to people who are in California, Oregon, West Virginia, North Carolina, Canada, and it's been awesome. It's been awesome. So thank you everybody who's reached out. But here's what I wanted to find out is if I can get enough interest in maybe say somebody wanting to spend a week here and like having a one-on-one week with me. I can honestly tell you, if you were to look at my equipment and look at some of my techniques, you'll say I probably lean closest to the Pirelli work. I never took a course. I didn't, I have Ken McNabb's material. I have Chris Cox's material. I have tons of different people's material. Most are still in the packaging because I personally don't have the attention span to sit and watch videos, especially when I'm looking for that one piece I didn't know. And I'm not, that's not to be, that doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound, but it's a lot to watch to gain new information sometimes. So I don't find that my attention span lasts very long. So a lot of stuff I haven't even opened, like I'll open, say I bought a set, and I'll open the first DVD, like Double Dan. I mean, I really like listening to them. They're fun to listen to, and they're very good they use a lot of analogies, and I love analogies, and I use a lot of analogies myself, and they're very good at explaining things through through the way they teach. So, but much of what they teach or how they teach, I don't apply. So you wouldn't see much of them in me. They use a lot of whip aids and stuff like that, and I don't. So, kind of I get lost in whether or not their techniques are valuable to me because I think I'm missing too many pieces of what they do to successfully be a part of what they do. You know what I mean? To be instrumental in using their techniques as my foundation. Um, I guess I think Jonathan Fields, I think, was a Pirelli graduate. And what I really, really like about him is his enthusiasm. So he probably had my attention the most out of anybody that I've ever bought material from, because he genuinely loves what he's doing. You know, like when a horse gets it, there's that genuine little kid belly giggle that comes out of him, and he's entertaining for that reason. I don't want to say that he's a show. He's not entertaining necessarily, like, you know, I'm watching him for the entertainment value, like you would, like, say, watch well, Craig Cameron. If you know who Craig Cameron is, he's entertaining because he's just crass. But I guess even like Clinton Anderson, even though he's a little rough around the edges, as far as his people skills, he's sometimes just funny because he's so rude. But I have enough good language with my horses. I have enough good natural abilities with my horses that what pieces I take from everybody I've ever watched or paid attention to has turned into my own thing. I'm not standing here to say I am a Pirelli professional or somebody else's graduate. I am me, who just happened to learn when I was 5 years old that I could catch a horse by pretending to cry. You know, it's just, I always had kind of a little gift with horses. I was the kid that got to ride all the horses and weren't ready for the school program yet. They just were a little too hot still. Started training horses when I was 11. Started my first paying job was when I was 14. And then I've had my own boarding and training facility for 17 years, I think. And I've actually downsized from, I don't want to do boarding anymore. I don't want to have training horses coming here to stay anymore. I found that where I moved to, there you would be actually paying the people to let you have their horse here. You know, if you're going to make a living at it, you got to at least break even, you know. So I can't crunch the numbers enough to break even with what people are willing to pay around here. So I kind of got lost in my interest in doing that. And besides, I kind of like having my own little compound. With that being said, if you wanted to come and say spend a week with me or come and spend a weekend with me, I have housing, and I also have a private barn. It would be you and me, or it would be you, me, and maybe one of my local students, or, you know, maybe one of my former students from New York would want to come down and be a part of something too, you know. But for the most part, if you came down for a weekend, it would just be you and me. And I have 6 horses that all have multiple personalities. I have 6 horses that all have different personalities that we could work with. And I'm sure one of them somewhere falls into what horse you're used to working with. So I'm throwing that out there, and I'm kind of hoping, we are sort of leaning towards somebody moving in July. So I'm kind of hoping that if I can attract enough interest in people wanting to come here and be a part of something here by using and utilizing my housing, I would rather do that than a permanent tenant. So I guess that's where I'm throwing that out there. I'm not standing here saying that, you know, I have this school program or whatever. I'm basically saying, hey, I think I'm pretty good with horses. I've been teaching for a long time. I don't carry anybody's name, so you won't be coming thinking that you're getting a Pirelli person and, you know, finding out that I don't have the credentials. I'm not professing to be any graduate of any program, but I have success at anything I want to do with my horses, and I've been successful in my opinion, and I think in my students' opinions, that I've had success in helping my students with their horses. So that's what I'm offering. I guess we all start somewhere, and I'm really enjoying that this came about as um, an idea that really is stemmed off of somebody watching me show off to one of my students with something I was doing with my horses. And then honestly, the response to that got me so excited. I started, looking up other things that were similar to that. And, I posted those as well, and they're getting attention as well. But I, my real interest in doing this video that was very long, and like I said in one of my other videos, you'll get used to me. I talk a lot. Is if anybody would have any interest in coming to the eastern shore of Delaware to spend a week learning different stuff about horses, and I don't even know what the interest would be yet, so I wouldn't know what the price would be yet. For the housing, I mean, I would charge what I charge for lessons, but the housing part, I'm not sure. But it might be an opportunity to kind of go and, you want to help out around a barn, maybe there'd be a reduction in the price, that kind of thing. So I'm just interested to see if that has, any potential. Okay. So thank you. Can't reach the button.